I wanted to have Bo Kimble on, clear up a little bit, but Bo joins us now. Bo, good to talk to you again. How are you doing?
Great. Good morning, and thanks for thinking of us and celebrating the life.
Let me start with the offense that Loyola Marymount played with Paul Westhead as your head coach. When you first realized what kind of offense you were going to be playing, what was your reaction?
Well, I thought he was pulling. I thought he was pulling my leg. Then he actually. I thought it was an edit, and I teased him right after our first meeting, and I said, is that an edit? And he said, no, that's the way we're going to play. And I tell you, he showed me a span of the guys running up and down court about 15 times. And guys were just jacking it up. They were making some shots missing. And he said, well, if you're a two guard, I want you to take that shot every time if you're on the wing. And I said, well, there's no better style of play, I think, for any young student athlete to play. It's like a dream to play for a guy like Paul Westhead and run that off.
Did you ever get yelled at for not shooting?
Oh, absolutely. That's the only time. There's only two times a coach, maybe three things he would yell about. Not running your lane so that either you or someone will be open. He hated you to shoot a three-pointer with your foot on the line. So that's why many times Jeff Fryer and I would sometimes back up because we wanted to do that and then not shooting. If Jeff Fryer and I was ever open, he would be very upset. He told me, if you're ever open inside the hash mark and don't shoot, have a seat next to me. And so that was amazing to hear that from a coach.
How many points did Loyola Marymount average that year?
We average, which is a record currently, at 124 points a game.
Oh, I missed that team.
But we shot the ball every 4 seconds. And when you shoot the ball with that up-style tempo, and I'm really looking forward to being a Division I coach one day, Dan, I'll add that in there. It's almost impossible to be able to stop the first couple shots within 4 seconds. Usually the shooters, no matter how great they are, they get a lot of missed shots. And then you got a guy like Hank Gathers coming down the middle and cleaning up all the rebounding literally against guards because the big men can't beat them down the floor. So it's a unique, it's a science to it, but it's the best scoring offense, definitely in college.
Why hasn't anybody recreated that offense?
Well, there's different styles of play. You can win it with there's different ways to win championships. But the last time I checked, the team has scored the most wins. So, with an offense like that, I don't know why other teams. I think the reason is other than different styles of play for different coaches, I think it really has a lot to do with ego. Paul Westhead literally could have sat on the side and had popcorn and a soda because we knew what to do every possession. Only time we needed a little direction maybe would be after a dead ball or after a timeout where we run a play because we couldn't run the break. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You can know what the team is doing, but you can't stop it.
He's the co-founder of the 44 for Life Foundation, which provides cardiogram screenings for kids ages 5 through 19. 44forlife.org. He's Bo Kimble, former New York Knick and L.A. Clipper, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. And the reason why I wanted to have you on, of course, the passing of Hank Gathers. It was 25 years ago tonight. And I guess, can you, and I don't know if it's painful or not. If it is, then tell me. But can you take yourself back 25 years ago and you see Hank collapse on the court? Your thought process is what?
Well, it's not painful talking about Hank Gathers, I got to tell you that. When I think of Hank Gathers, I don't think about how he died. I think about how he lived. Mm-hmm. I think about all the great, the funny stories. Hank was the funniest person you could ever meet. And then it's just so many amazing memories to draw from that I rarely think of anything that's of the tragedy. But that night, the last thing you would think is the most powerful, forceful, energetic person in the world, which was Hank Gathers, to die of sudden cardiac arrest. And so we thought that maybe he would, get back up like he did the first time when he fainted against Santa Barbara. But again, it just really shocked. It just was shocking to everyone. Unfortunately, we had a defibrillator and we didn't use it, and everybody panicked. So part of what the foundation does, other than the echocardiogram and the electrocardiogram screening, is we teach awareness because even the professionals that day dropped the ball. There was a doctor there, he dropped the ball. The trainer dropped the ball. Everybody did everything but go get that defibrillator. So that's what I kind of look back on. But I celebrate Hank's memory. I celebrate his life. because he was full of life and he's worthy to be praised, and he was a great athlete, but he was even a better person.
Then you guys go on this great tournament run, the tribute to Hank. You start shooting free throws left-handed because Hank was left-handed. You're right-handed. I mean, it was magical. I mean, the whole country was rooting for you. Did you feel? I mean, what did you feel at the time?
Well, at the time, it was just we were putting all of our pain and our sorrow into our play. You know, I tried to tell the younger guys who were writing Hank's name and number on their sneakers. And we had a discussion about we were playing for our love for Hank, and I tried to, as the co-captain of the team with Hank, I tried to tell the guys, look, we love Hank whether we win or lose. Let's not play for that. Let's just do our best. Well, I can tell you, Dan, that went in one ear and out the other, because when that ball went up, the only thing they were thinking about was Hank Gathers and playing for their love and respect of Hank. Some things that stood out to me, a guy by the name of Chris Scott, young freshman at the time, throughout the course of the year had real poor footwork, would travel a lot in the paint. Guys like Chris Scott and Chris Knight. Chris Scott would have, all of a sudden, overnight, he got Hank Gathers and Akeem Olajuwon's footwork. I mean, here's a guy that traveled almost every time he touched the ball, but he wasn't worrying about making a mistake. He was playing for his love and respect of Hank. And I think that's the way that we played. I mean, everybody just knew that we could. When Hank fainted the first time, we won some games. We beat Oregon State in Oregon. We won. We played very well against some other teams, and so we knew we could play without Hank. So we just basically put all of our play and we put all our sorrow into our play, and that's a compliment to all of our team, because it's very easy to give up and say, hey, look, you know, it's too tough. This is too much to bear. We're all young. But instead, we laced it up and said, let's kick some butt, and we did.
I go back to the Santa Barbara game, and I mean, did you realize that any kind of health risk for him on a basketball court?
Not really, because even though I know there was something that was related to the heart, he was under the care of Perlin and Job, and they were the best, orthopedic group in the world. So I think it was a combination of trying to reduce the medicine once Hank came back, once he got cleared to play. I think it was a combination of when Hank took the full dosage, he was too sluggish. He couldn't be the Hank that we knew on the court. It just drained him too much. So I think in the process of them cutting back on the dosage, that's where, and I believe from what I heard and read that Hank probably didn't take his medicine that Friday or Saturday, and I think those things probably played a factor. But Hank wanted to provide for his family, and he wanted to, I guess, put the best foot forward. Is the conference tournament. We're getting ready to go into the NCAA tournament, and he wanted to be the Hank Gathers dominating versus the sluggish Hank.
But, Bo, did he ever tell you that he was scared?
No, he never told me that he was scared. And, as I can tell you, he told the late Father Dave Hagan he was scared. But that was part of Hank's demeanor. That's all part of his characteristics. Other than the heart thing, Hank wasn't scared of anything. And his fear would make him go far and beyond his call to make sure he played well. The way he played against Shaquille O'Neal and Stanley Roberts, 2 7-footers when we played them at LSU. He knew that all the NBA scouts were there. Hank got his first 7 shots blocked, Dan, and finished the game with 48 points, 18 rebounds. Okay? So I'm sure that he knew that, hey, I got my first 7 shots blocked. What the hell is going on? So he just stepped it up and 48-18.
Shaq had 12 blocks in that game.
Yeah. So and he blocked one of mine as well. So. But that's just – I'm sure that probably no one else ever scored 48 on Shaq, but Hank Gathers did.
Well,
that's the kind of player that he was. He just – regardless of your opponent's skill set, you might be taller, bigger, stronger, better, but he's still going to outplay you and kick your butt.
But you get your first 7 shots blocked, and what that would do to your confidence level. Oh, God.
But for any player, right.
Yes.
You eat your first shot. Hank was only 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", going up against 2 7-footers. Had that kind of performance.
Was Chris Jackson the point guard there?
Yes.
I think he had 40 in that game.
Probably so.
He was a bad – I tell people Chris Jackson, that crossover, when he was a bad – he was their best player, even though they had Shaq and Stanley Roberts. Chris Jackson was a bad dude.
Yeah, he was a special player. When you have that Chris Jackson type of quickness, like an Allen Iverson, they are unstoppable players. And I can tell you, I'm glad that I didn't have to play against Iverson because I can tell you, people like him and Chris, they'll embarrass you, they'll cross you over, you'll be falling on the ground, and they're shooting jumpers, laughing at you. So, you know.
Hey, Bo, it's good to talk to you again. 44forlife.org. He's Bo Kimble, the co-founder of the 44 for Life Foundation. And good luck with the aspirations of being a Division I basketball coach.
Thank you. I'm going for that, but thank you guys, for keeping, for remembering Hank on this, on the day, on this tragic day.
Thank you, Bo.
You're welcome.
He's Bo Kimble, former Knick and Clipper.